Okay, morning. So everyone, the place that you're going to find the information on this tool will be again under Comic Book Help Documents. And if we go into Illustrator Tool Tutorials, we're going to find it under, in a row, right under Gradient Mesh, and there's our symbol tools. And so there's several different symbol tutorials in here, and symbol sprayers, and also how to add symbol styles. So there's a lot of information. I really encourage you to take a look at this, and we're going to go through all of this today. So I'm just going to get right out of here and go into Illustrator, and then I want to create a new file. So I'm going to think about possibly a background. So I'm just going to go ahead and label this test background to give you an idea. And I'm probably going to go horizontal. And there's reasons for this, because later on when we get into InDesign, you'll be able to manipulate how big or how small all of the things that'll be in these backgrounds. And so I think it's important for you to kind of consider them as not a static size, but as something that you might show a part of or maybe show all of. And I think that it's pretty easy to make more than one artboard and change it, have a vertical or a horizontal artboard and a vertical artboard, right, within the same file. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to probably, let's say, 4 artboards, okay? And I'm going to hit create. So there's my 4 artboards. They're all horizontal for now. That's fine. So what I want to do is talk about the sprayer tool. So the sprayer tool is a very interesting tool. It's right underneath the eyedropper. So it literally looks like a spray can, and it's called the symbol sprayer tool. And the fast key for it is Shift S. And what this tool does is, if you can think about how smart objects, you probably haven't heard too much about smart objects yet with Photoshop. But the way smart objects work is that the object stays static, and then a preview of that object goes into your file. And so then that object is kind of, it's like you're looking at the original all the time. So if you resize it or make it bigger or smaller, you're not doing a destructive change on it. You're not destroying pixels by making it bigger and smaller. You're always just kind of like looping over to the original file. So the way the sprayer tool works is kind of similar in that it has what are called instances. So you can have one image, and then you can take that image and you can make multiples of it, but they are not vector, like they don't have their objects around them. They literally just have a bounding box, and they're all going back to that original image and just recreating it. And so they call it an instance. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of play around a little bit and work on what could be a background. So I'm going to go and grab the rectangle shape tool, and I'm just going to make kind of a blue sky over here. And again, I can make this any size I want. I'm going to get rid of my stroke, and I'm going to add the color blue. I'm going to find a nice blue sky color, and there it is. And then I want to add, in front of that, I'm going to do another rectangle, and this time I'm going to make a ground level. So it's still blue. I'm going to change that. You notice I'm going a little bit outside the box. I'm not really worried about that, but I could fix it. So let's make some grass. Super simple. I'm going to grab my selection tool, and I'm just going to resize all this so it fits into my shape. There it is. Beautiful. And then I might want to give this some sort of elements, like it looks like Elizabeth is here. Give some sort of elements to it, like instead of just being flat, I might give it some, hills or whatever. So I'm just going to add a couple of points. See how I'm just using my pen tool with the plus sign. I'm going to go back to, I'll go to Shift C and use my convert tool, and I'll pull my anchor points out on there. my handlebars, and I'm just going to do the same thing on this anchor. Just going to kind of give it like a more unusual shape there. So now I have, something that could be kind of like a little grassy knoll. So what the sprayer tool does is, again, it makes these instances. So I'm going to double click on it. And this is our sprayer tool dialog box. And you're going to notice that there's a lot of different things in here. So there's intensity and symbol set density. And then there's also scrunching, sizing, spinning, screening, stain, and so on. So in the beginning, everything's marked to average. You can go user defined. These are things that you can change as we go. So let's just go ahead and look at the size of this. Right now it's pretty big. So if I want to make it a little smaller, I can make it a little smaller. So I'll make it like 100 points. And if I go and open up my actual symbol palette, so remember this is my symbol tool. Tools are always on the left, palettes are always on the right, and all my palettes are under my window. So if I come down here and open up, let me just say okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and open up my symbol. There's my symbol palette, see it down there. And here it is. So I'm going to drag it out so it's by itself. And remember one of the things I told you, that anytime you see those 3 books, the 2 books with the leaning book, that means that there's a library, right? So if I click on the library, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. These are all symbols. So let's go and look at some of these. So let's go into nature. Let me find nature. And there under nature, I can see a whole bunch of stuff. So let's drag it down. And I can see grass. I can see, butterflies and bugs and trees and so on. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab some grass, right? So there's my grass. And notice that when I clicked on it, it automatically came into my symbol palette. So this is my little nature library. Came into my symbol palette, and it has this little black box all the way around it. That means it's selected, okay? So now if I want to spray with it, let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. I'm making grass. So there's my grass. So if we zoom in and kind of look at it, there it is. And obviously I'd probably want to move it around a little bit. So I'm going to just shrink it down. Notice how I just sort of distorted it. It's okay. And I can drag it out to fit the length of my thing. And let's say I want to have really a lot of grass. Command 0. I could copy and paste this. So let me go ahead and highlight it with my, oops, I'm going to lock my background. So remember, lock selection. So now if I go to my symbol instance, there's my instance. And notice if I go to my direct selection arrow, if I click on these, I don't get any points, right? It's all inside of this bounding box, all inside that instance. Notice that it went right back to my selection arrow. And I'm going to talk more about that. But for now, just remember when you build them, they're an instance. So they're literally copying multiples of this guy right here in my library. So now I'm going to copy it, Command C or Control C, Command V, make another set. And then I think what I'm going to do is see if I can go to Object, Transform, and Reflect. And so now I have, kind of a different version of what I had before. I'll say OK. And I'm just going to drag that right in over the top. So now I have a little more variety going on. Okay. So if I look at my layers palette just to see where things are, which is always a good thing to do, click on my layers palette. Notice that I have everything on the same layer. Okay. So if I scroll down, I should see that my background is locked. If I don't want to go back up here to Object and lock my selection, I can come over here and lock this selection. And then here's my 2 symbols. So I can move these symbols around anywhere within the space. So if I want to add more stuff and more symbols, and I can also mark these, I can call them grass, right? And grass 2. So now I know what I have, and there's my my background ground layer and my sky. Okay, so now my stuff's all set. Okay, so let's say I want to have this same exact scene. I'm going to unlock these two. And I'm going to go to my artboard too. I'm going to select them all. So Command A selects everything on my page. So Control A or Command A automatically selects everything on my page. If I go back into my layers palette, wherever the heck it is, I think I just turned it off mistakenly. I can see that I have blue boxes next to every single one of these, right? So if I click up, so that's one way to do it, Control A or Command A. The other way to get everything on a layer is what? To hit the little circle. So then I also get everything on that layer. So now if I want to make a new layer and I go Command V, I want to be on that new layer. So if I go on this one, grab everything, Command C, go on this one, go Command V, now I have all that stuff on a totally new layer. So let's zoom all the way out and drag that to another artboard. So I'm going to go to this next artboard now on my new layer, and I'll call this barren background because there's not anything on it. So it's just by itself. This one I'll call background with trees. Okay, and so let's go into this one. So I know I'm on the right one because I've got red, right? So it shows me I'm on this layer. I also know that I'm on artboard 3. So I can rename this the same, just as my layers. I can say this background with trees. Okay. So now I'm going to go and grab another instance over here, and I'm going to grab these trees. But before I do that, I'm going to go back into what I just created, and I'm going to look at my my stuff that I made, my new layer, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lock those two background layers for now. Okay. And now I'm going to start making trees. So I'll go back to my symbol sprayer. Let's move everything all the way so we can see what we're doing. And this time I'm going to my trees. See the trees over here. So I'm going to make sure they're highlighted. They have the black ring around them. And I'll start making trees. Whoops. So I've got to be on. I should be able to do this. Oh, no. Oh, I have to deselect. Sorry, my bad. So Command D. So now let's go ahead and start adding. Why did it get rid of them all? Command Z. That was weird. Okay, so let's just click off. Now I should be able to do it. So let me go over here, grab the new one. And so what just happened there is that I had the other instance selected, so it wouldn't let me make a new one. So I'm just making some trees. So there's my trees. Boom. Right? So I'm just going to kind of layer them into my background. And I can make them bigger. Whoa, I can make them really tall. You know, so I've kind of distorted them a little bit. And let's just kind of get them back in here. And so now I have two different backgrounds, right? I have this background and I have this background. And let's say I want to make, you know, some other kind of thing with these. So anyway, so basically what I'm doing is just creating multiples of whatever I find in these. And there's tons of stuff. I'm just going to kind of show you, like if I go through, here's flowers, you know, here's like sunflowers, all kinds of things. But I can make my own things too. And I'm going to do that in a minute. But first, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about all of the things that are in the symbol sprayer. So all of this stuff in the tool thing. So I'm going to go back up here now into another artboard. And I'm going to double click on the symbol sprayer. And I'm going to get a simpler symbol. I'll use this flower. So let me grab the flower. And I'll just make some flowers. So just to kind of show you how that symbol system works. So right there in the beginning, I'm just on the sprayer. But then you have all of these little guys, and these little guys all tend to do different things to the symbol if it's collected. So right now, let me just cancel out. I want to just show you, here's my symbol system that I just created. Let me grab the direct selection tool. So make it a little bigger. There it is. Move these artboards back into their nice little swirled. And I'm going to double click on here. And now if I go to the next one, what will happen is it says hold down the shift key. So it's really nice because you don't remember all this stuff. So and even I still don't remember it all. Maybe Mario does because he's really good at that. But I mean, for me, I still have to read it every time. So it's like basically hold down the shift key to bring symbol instances forward. So right now, if you look here, you can see like this flower is in front and this flower is in back. So if I hold down my shift key and I click on these, I should start to be able, now do you notice that this flower is now in front? So like right now that flower is in front and this one's in the back. So if I hold my shift key, now the other flower is in front. So you can alter like positions and then double click, hold down the shift option key to send them backward. So if I want to send them back, like I want to have this flower way in the back. So let me say, okay, I'm just going to click over the top of this and I'm going to go shift option and keep clicking until, see, now that one's way in the back. Okay. Moving on. Because there's more. There's always more. always more. So this one, sometimes I like to use birds for this, but this one, if you hold down the option key, this makes the instances move away from the cursor. So I'm going to go ahead and like right now I've got all of these sort of nested in that one corner and I want to spread them out. So if I hold the option key and click, I'm able to spread them out a little bit. Let's go to this set and see how I was able to spread them out. So one click and it just pushed them away from the cursor. Now I could get them really far away, but in this case I just wanted to spread them a little bit, right? Let's go to the next one. So this one, proportionally resizing or resizing affects density. So hold down the option key to decrease the size of a symbol instance and then hold down the option or the shift key to do density preserving scale. So I don't necessarily, I'm going to show you the top one. So I'm going to hold down the option key and I'll show you what that does. So see what I did there? So I made some very, very small. So if I want to go back into my trees just quickly and get rid of some of these ones that are in the background that feel like too big, I hold my option key down. Oh, I have to, it shouldn't be locked. There we go. I have to make sure it's highlighted and make sure I'm on the one I want. And then I'm going to hold my option key and I'll just try to make some of these smaller, maybe. There we go. So I'm making those background ones smaller. See how it goes directly on the one I'm on, which is kind of cool. So I can really kind of make it feel like it's going back in space. You know, like I'm seeing long, long, long ways away. And so on. Okay, so let's go back to our original that we're working on for an example. And let's go to the next one. So this one is probably, you're not going to notice it as much, but this one actually rotates. So there's no shortcut for this one, you just do it. So like if I want to, make this turn in a direction, it doesn't really look like it's moving much, but it actually does turn them. Oh, it's not highlighted, of course. Let me just, again, my dopiness. I get to highlight things. There. So now you can kind of see how the flowers are rotating because I'm kind of moving them around. So if I want to move this direction, you'll see there's like a little arrow. So this is great when you have like, I don't know, you just want variety. Okay, so that rotates everything. And then this one is, let's see. So this one is the one for colorization. So this one actually will make things, I believe, take some of the color out. So again, if I hold the Option key down on this one, it should start to take the color out, but I'm not really. Some of these, I don't know if I have to have color behind it for it to like appear more. Let me just double check that, make sure I have it right. Yeah, hold down the Option key to decrease the amount of colorization. Hold down the Shift key to maintain the tint quality of the previous stained instance. I've never been able to get this one to work very well. Mario, do you know why?
No, because it's a clunky Adobe product.
I know. It's like for some reason it's like I never can get this one. I mean, it depends, I think, on the symbol that you're using, because sometimes I can get it to go like almost black and white, or, you know, but other times I can't. So I don't know.
It just desaturates it so it goes more grayscale. Or
yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. Yeah. And then this one is a decrease of transparency. So this one's actually kind of cool. So see what it did there? I really did a lot. Let me Command C. I'll just do it once. So see that you kind of see how it's faded? It's like, it's pretty quick. So, yeah. And I think that there's actually, let me double look at that again. So that one, I think you can, I think if I drop the intensity, I think it doesn't go as fast down. Is that right?
Yes.
I'm going to try that. I know he's like, I think so. You probably never use, yeah, see now there it's a little less. So I dropped it in half. So now it didn't go down to almost nothing, you know? So let's try it again.
Right. I don't use this tool very often.
I knew you didn't. I could tell. But I love this tool for comic books.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a must-have, you know, for building backgrounds.
Oh, yeah, for backgrounds, it's great.
So there, see, now I dropped it down to 2. So now it just did a little bit. Okay. So that's cool. So let's go to the last one. And I always forget what this one is too. Decrease the style intensity. So I never quite figured that one out either, but let's go for it. So we're going to hold Option and like, I don't know what that means. Decrease the style intensity.
It could be bending the Beziers in there.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't really see it, you know? Yeah. But here's the big trick. Here's the thing that I love. There is also this awesome thing that you can do over here. When you have the symbols collected, you'll notice that at the bottom of the symbol palette, right? This is not in the tool, this is in the palette. There's a little chain link, okay? So what's neat about this is that I have now just broken the link and created a ton of objects. So if I'm going to say, okay, yes, I know. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to click off and I'm going to grab just one of these so I can literally see how this thing was built. So let's zoom in. So there it is. There's all the parts, right? Now, let's say, let me just, I want to grab the whole thing so I get all the points. Okay, so there's all my points, right? So if I take my selection tool and let's say I want to, I'm just going to try to get some of the petals, if it lets me, because it's complicated. These are usually pretty complicated, these things that Adobe does. So there's one petal. So there I can see the color. So I'm going to change it to yellow. That's too yucky. Try something better. I don't know. Okay. So there, see what I did? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold my Shift key and I'm just going to grab a bunch of these guys. So I'll just grab a bunch, you know, just random, whatever. Now I could do this a different way. I could go into my color, you know, chromas and I could alter the whole thing, but I don't want to alter the whole thing. I just want to alter some of the petals. So now I've got all these petals selected. I'm going to grab my eyedropper and maybe it's going to, if there's any love left in the world, And now I made them all yellow, right? And so now, here's the cool thing. I can take this new one that I made, right, and grab the whole thing and go over to my symbols palette and say, new symbol, right? And then I'm going to call it yellow and pink daisy. Daisy. I can't see anything this morning. And I'll just say, okay. Look at, there it is. I think it's in there. It might have grabbed it grabbed the whole symbol instance, I think. Let me just double check. Let me delete that one. I don't want that one. I just want the one. So let me hit cancel. So I just want to make sure I only have this one. So let me zoom out, Command 0. Make sure I only have the one. Yeah, see, it took the whole thing. I don't want the whole thing. So I'm going to break this instance again. I just want the one. See, so what's happening is it's grouped. So when the instance broke, it grouped it. So let me Shift Command G or Shift Control G, and now just grab the one. Nope. Okay, there's no love. There's no love, Mario. Now I just have the one. I used my direct selection arrow to grab it, but I should be able to just grab it. I don't know why it wouldn't do that. So anyways, so I'm going to make this now yellow daisy. Let me just go ahead and grab it all. Yellow daisy. And it's okay. And now I got the yellow daisy. And this one I want to delete. So I'm going to drag it to the trash. Yes, I want to get rid of that other one. Okay, so there's my new one. So now I have it in here. So I can delete all this other stuff. Just grab them all. Hit delete. All right. Now let's go back to my symbol sprayer. Double click. Go to my original sprayer. And now I've got a less intensity. Remember I changed it? I want to put it back maybe to 5. Be a little different. And let's go ahead and spray some. And there they are. So anything you can build in Illustrator, you can turn into a symbol. Anything at all. So if you build amazing tree leaves or whatever, holly leaves, and you want to make a Christmas wreath, I don't know. It could be anything at all. And you can build it by hand. You can grab a symbol instance and you can rebuild those. There's lots and lots and lots of them. There's just a lot. So, I mean, really look at these. So I just think it's super fun and a really fun tool. So I'm going to stop there and we can talk about it. So what did you think of that tool? Will.
I think it's cool. I mean, like you said, I think it'd be super easy for backgrounds and stuff when you're doing the comic book.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the whole point, you know? It's like, I don't want to make your life harder. I know you think I do, but I really don't. I really don't. I really want you to see the beauty of all the things you can do in Illustrator. So let me just go ahead and make sure my recording is stopped.